Patreon Q&A number 140. I want to thank all 133 of my incredible patrons. Guys, thank you so much for continuing to support me the way that you have been. And to everyone else listening, there's going to be spoilers for all of the series I'm going to be talking about, so tread carefully. Zackattack asks, when will Garou finally make his appearance? Will it happen soon? So I get asked this all the time, and I might as well just make this the title of the video so they could just be out there as a resource for like the next couple weeks or possibly months. So you've probably heard me say this before, but things are constantly changing in the One Punch Man manga's continuity as it is slowly adapted from the webcomics continuity. Meaning that pretty much anything is on the table at this point, and Garou, you know, for all we know, could show up in the next chapter. But there's no real way to account for that, I guess, realistically right now. So all we can really do is go off of the webcomics continuity and timeline. So currently in the manga, we're around like chapter 72 of the webcomic. That's when Bang does all of his significant stuff against the cadres. So going off of that continuity, Garou doesn't appear again until chapter 76. And it's not until chapter 77 when he is like directly on the surface with everybody else. So given that stretch, that's quite a bit of time in the manga's continuity, or at least it will probably be once it's fully adapted. So it'll probably be a couple months real time in order to fill in that gap. But going a little more into it, there's like three big events that need to happen before Garou gets to the surface, at least according to the webcomic. So we need to finish up Bang going against Fear Ugly, or vomited Fear Ugly, and however that whole sequence is going to resolve itself in the manga's continuity. Then we need to have King step up and go against the cadres himself in that epic sequence. Then the S-Class heroes have their moment where they're starting to turn the tables on the cadres. Then we'll have Psychos going against Fubuki. And then when Fubuki defeats Psychos, that's when Garou comes to the surface. So if the manga's continuity does in fact go off of that timeline, then like I said, we have quite a bit of time before Garou shows up again. Like it could be like the fall, or maybe even the winter possibly. Or like I said in the beginning, he just shows up in the next chapter because the manga is just that radically different at this point. And then for your second question, when will Golden S appear? So Golden S shows up even later than Garou coming to the surface. He's introduced in chapter 80 of the webcomic. That's 3 chapters after just what we were talking about. So that probably means that he will show up real time in the manga much later than that. So maybe next year we might see Golden S possibly. Dino W asks, what do you think Luffy needs to defeat Kaido? So this is a good question because it appears that him incorporating Conqueror's Haki into his attacks wasn't enough. So the only things that I could think of at this point is either Luffy gets back on track and further improves his Conqueror's Haki physical attacks, or we just go straight into Gear 5 and that's how Luffy defeats Kaido, or he gets a Devil Fruit Awakening. It can only really be one of those 3 things, right? Unless he goes more into like the advanced armament Haki, like it going beneath Kaido's skin, but I thought we already kind of crossed that bridge. Did you see the last episode of My Hero where Ida went to the Speed Force and Shoto learned the Spirit Bomb? Tetsu looked like he was taking it more when I read the manga a couple years ago, but Todoroki was clearly going to nuke him with that last attack. Yeah, that's because the anime really embellished that sequence. Like in the manga, it doesn't look like Shoto has like conjured this fire spirit bomb from remembering Endeavor's encouragement. Legandaryus asks, what rank would the Avatar be in the Hero Association? So you're talking about Aang from Avatar The Last Airbender? If you are, I'll say him at the end of the series, you know, the last episode of season 3, easily S-Class level in my opinion. Obviously not sure where he would be in the S-Class rankings because they're weird and arbitrary, but I think for sure he would make the S-Class cut. I mean, he's ridiculous by that point. Little Ferrari asks, the mangaka of Berserk, Kentaro Miura, passed away. Do you think people should try to continue the story with anything he has left behind regarding the future of the series, or do you think the series to that quality should be left as is? So first of all, rest in peace, Miura. Very tragic and unfortunate that it happened. He was really young too, only 54. But as for the future of Berserk, I really wouldn't be surprised if it just ends the way that it does. Sometimes art just happens to have an ending like that because of unfortunate circumstances like this. But I'm not really sure what Miura wanted posthumously for his work. Now, maybe we'll get more insight into that as time goes on. Maybe he left some kind of will or something. Not really sure at this point. But unless he had some kind of stipulations, I'm assuming that it's just going to end where it is. Mainstream Anime asks, how much stronger would Darkshine be if he knew the Water String Rock Smashing Fist? So I think he would probably go to the next tier of power. Not saying like above Dragon, but just the next tier on whatever tier he currently is on. Because think about it, ostensibly he's stronger than Bang and Garou. Maybe not Garou right now, but he was. And on top of that, he has the Water Stream as well. Obviously, we can't say for sure if he's going to be more skilled than Garou or Bang. Probably not, but just him having those skills on top of his outrageous physicality would really push him to even higher than he already is, maybe like top 4 of the S-Class. It's said that 10 A-Class heroes are needed to take down a demon level threat. Do you think Atomic Samurai's disciples would be able to take down one demon level threat like Bug God, Deep Sea King, or Royal Ripper? So I do think the disciples can take down demons by themselves. I mean, obviously they proved it against Devil Longhair. And the list of your candidates here, I think they could probably take down Royal Ripper for sure. Not sure about Deep Sea King because I personally hold him in very high regard, as well as Bug God. In my video, who is the strongest demon, I had Bug God as number 1 and Deep Sea King as number 3, so I don't think the disciples are going to be able to take them. Mr.Awsome asks, how many S-Class level humans do you think are out there in total? It seems that we keep getting introduced to these absolute beasts that are coming out of nowhere like Neo Leaders and Bomb. Do you think that there being over 100 is likely? Maybe. I mean, 100 out of the entire population, that doesn't seem too outrageous. Will we see 100 different S-Class level humans in the series by the time it's over? Probably not. But we're going to see more than we already have. I mean, it seems that with every new arc in the webcomic, we are anyway. Second question, who is the most powerful monster that the A-Class working together could take out, excluding Amaya and Saitama? So it would have to be like, maybe somebody just stronger than Rhino Wrestler. Because I think the entire A-Class working together could take down Rhino Wrestler for sure. I mean, what, there's like 39 of them or 37 or something, minus the 2 you listed. Nico L asks, what if All For One knew that his stockpiling quirk would fuse with the current quirk that his brother had? And since his brother always went against him and he would keep passing it down and it would keep getting stronger so that down the line he could take it back and become even more broken. So it is possible, I mean, especially given that All For One somehow knew that Izuku was going to do everything that he's currently doing. But it just doesn't seem like All For One is playing that level of 8D chess. Like, I just don't think that he knew that the quirk fusing stuff would happen. Because if he did, it seemed like he would probably orchestrate a better more foolproof plan. And also, if he did know that they would fuse together, I assume that he would probably take them back sooner. And also, it's kind of implied that Yujiko was the one who introduced the quirk singularity theory to All For One, maybe. So I just don't think it's likely, although it is very possible he could just reveal this in like one of the final chapters and say, I was doing this the whole time. Samurai asks, by the end of the series, what other things do you think Zoro might be hiding in terms of abilities or power? So aside from the Ashura, I think it's definitely his left eye. I think the left eye is there for a reason, and once he opens it, things are going to get crazy. Like, he's going to get some kind of insane power up. Maybe he'll go deeper into the Conqueror's Haki stuff. At the minimum, he just sees better and can move better and do things, in a more efficient way. How much damage do you think Mihawk's absolute strongest ability could do to Kaido? Could he cut his head off or something? I think if Kaido was just standing there, not defending, no Haki or anything, then yeah, Mihawk could probably take his head off. But in an actual fight, it would be a little different. I think Mihawk would be very competitive against Kaido at this point, way more than Zoro. It's just hard to say how much at this point. Do you think the Guardians could have beat Omni-Man? So if you mean like the current Guardians, no. I think they might even have less of a chance of taking him down than the original Guardians did. Now, what are they missing? Power, I guess, unless there's some kind of Viltrumite, kryptonite out there that has yet to be discovered. I only watched the series, I haven't read the comics, so I don't know yet. They need just more powerful dudes, like the Battle Beast guy. Snowpeas asks, what disaster level would you give the kaiju that Omni-Man almost lost to? Dragon for sure. Not sure if he's like a high dragon or something, but definitely a dragon through and through. I was expecting to see more abilities from that thing, but it just seems like it's just a big, massive like tank. Tom asks, what tier of power would you put Mirko, the top 5 hero from My Hero Academia? So I would put her in the tier right before the very highest tier of My Hero, because we know for sure that she could, for the most part, solo a high-end Nomu, which is like one of the most impressive things you could do in the series. So if the highest This tier is like, you know, Kamino All Might, Kamino All for One, Izuku using 100%, plus Ultra Shigaraki. Then I would put Mirko in the tier right beneath that. Bullfire54 asks, if one was to die from ordinary circumstances before finishing the webcomic, do you think Murata would probably already know enough about the rest of the undiscovered lore and ending of One Punch Man from one that he would want to finish it on his own? So I'm really unsure at this point because I don't know what kind of deal that Murata and One have made. If One didn't specifically say that he wants Murata to continue One Punch Man in case something were to happen to him, then that means that it's over, and there's no way Murata would continue it unless that's specifically what One wanted. And if Saitama isn't the one who defeats God at the end, who else could it be? That's a great question. And I guess Blast, right? Blast, maybe Metal Knight, maybe Tatsumaki. That's about it. There's not a lot of people on that list who would be able to take down God, unless Garou somehow became even stronger than Awakened Garou, then maybe him, but that's pretty much it. Zapphod B asks, do you think that we'll see more manga characters show up in the webcomic? So yeah, I think we do, and maybe we'll see Gearspur, One-Shotter, and Mizuki. I think Mizuki and Gearspur are more likely than One-Shotter, simply because more spotlight has seemed to be put on them, and they seem to be set up for having more significant futures in the story. Do you think One-Shotter could use similar ammo to the superpowered shot Zombie Man used against Pure Blood? Yeah, for sure. I don't think we've seen the last of One-Shotter. I think we'll see more of him in the Neo Heroes arc, and he'll definitely have some upgrades at that point. Or maybe the Hero Association will give him some upgrades because they saw what he did in the Monster Association battle. So he could get that Zombie Man ammo upgrade, and then maybe his rifle is augmented so he doesn't blow out his arms the way that Zombie Man does, because I doubt he's as strong as Zombie Man. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Once again, I want to thank all 133 of my incredible patrons, and if you would like to be in next week's Q&A, simply check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. The $5 tier will give you access to this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.